What's up, y'all? What it do? Hello to you, homegirls. What's up, y'all? Today is a little bit random, but it's the new year, and I'm not much of a find much decluttering on my channel because it's something that I do on a regular basis. I try to keep my collections of things pretty organized and up to date. So we're doing that here today. This is not really a declutter. I'm really just showing you guys my powder collection, which is, I can't believe I have this many powders. What happened was that my favorite powder, I'll show it to y'all at the end, got discontinued. This was the only powder that I would ever buy. I've been using that powder since I was like 19. Ever since I discovered it, it's been the only powder that I use. And then, I don't know, I want to say maybe like 2 years ago, I tried to, maybe 2 years ago was too long. Maybe like a year and a half ago, I tried to repurchase it and I bought it and it just was not the same. So they changed the formula and it's so different from what it was before. So I've been on a journey trying to find something to replace it. Have I been successful? No. And now we have this entirely full makeup bag full of powders. It's a 2-section makeup bag. This whole area is where my powders are. They're all in here. I love this makeup bag. It's a juicy bag. I think I've showed it on this channel before. I would just wish I would have got it in black because the nudie peachy is like showing stains, but it is a very pretty color. All right, so I'm gonna change the camera angle so I can show y'all exactly what it is that I have. And all right, y'all, let's do it. I'm not going in any particular order. I'm just pulling from the bag. All right, I think this is the most, the newest powder in my collection. I think this is the last powder that I purchased. I haven't bought any makeup in 2025 yet. So yeah, this is the LYS setting powder in the shade Independent Tan. And I really like LYS as a brand. Everything that I've purchased, I enjoy. I really like this tan color. One thing you're gonna notice about me is color. I have all of this because what I struggle with is the color of my powder and like the formula of my powder because I have dry skin. So this is a pretty good formula. It's not too drying at all. This tan color is pretty neutral and appropriate for my skin tone. I'm liking this. It's really blurring. It's nice. I like it. I like LYS. LYS makes good stuff. This is Makeup Forever. This is the HD Twist and Light. This is also in the shade tan. It's kind of like a Givenchy vibe. So the colors are like orange, tan, and like I guess like a brightening banana. And then what you do is you twist and then the powder comes under there and then you got to put your brush in there. It's not a setting powder, it's a finishing powder, and it's a really pretty radiant finishing powder. If you don't like radiance, if you don't like to glitter, you're not gonna like this, but I like it. I tried to use it as setting powder. It is not a setting powder. I've mentioned this on my channel before. This will not set your concealer or your base or any of that. It's just to kind of like bring the complexion together and make it complete, but I do like it. I think this is the only Makeup Forever product in my entire collection. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do like a little shop my stash too. So I might be shopping my stash. This is the Saie Air Set Radiant Loose Setting Powder. This is in the shade Translucent Deep. I've been on a journey with this powder. I hated it at first, Now that I'm kind of, I don't know if you can see how much I have left. It's kind of like just a little bit of a corner left. This was going to be very, I thought this was going to be very similar to my Holy Grail powder, but the color is off. It's too dark for my under eyes, so I use it as a finishing powder. But it is pretty radiant. It's nice. I hated it at first. I like it more now that I found a use for it. There isn't much product in here. I think this is a little bit overpriced. This is the only Saie product in my collection as well. So I don't know. I think I'm going to pull this for a Shop My Stash. So I'm going to put this off to the side because I might do a Shop My Stash. All right, this is the Milk Pore Eclipse Translucent Setting Powder in the shade Medium Translucent. This is actually pretty nice. This is really nice. It's nice when you put it on. This shade Medium is a little bit too light for me, but it's pretty good. I really like translucent powders. I like for my base to show underneath the powder. So I don't know, you can see right there. Yeah, it's pretty light. So usually when I put it on, I want to like cover it up with something else. But the formula, as you can see, it's like so light and fluffy. I like it. It's a pretty good formula. I think there's a medium, there's a color after this, like medium deep, that I might like more. But again, that's usually when I like a powder, I'll buy the powder and then I'll probably have to end up getting a second color because I have such a nuanced complexion. It's difficult to find a powder that I like. This is the, oh, and my stuff might look crazy because of how I have it stored. So I'm a real makeup wearer. I use all these things. This is the Beauty Bakery Bite Size Pinch of Flour. This is in the shade Cassava Yellow. This, I think I'm done with this too. I think I finished this. Yeah, this was a really nice powder. I kind of went and panic bought Beauty Bakery when I heard that they were going out of business, but I think the owner said that she's gonna sell it off. So they might still be around. I hope that they keep the formulas the same because I was late to this party, and this is a beautiful setting powder formula. I usually don't like yellow powders, but this one was really pretty. I have it in another color too. Let's talk about that. I'm actually wearing a little bit of it today. So this is the same powder in the shade Almond Chestnut. This one obviously is a bit darker, but usually this is, again, a struggle that I have with powders, and the colors of the powder is they're either too light or they're too dark. This, it's not that it's too dark, it just has too much of an orange hue to it, and I don't like that. I don't like banana powder, and I don't like an orange powder. I am neutral. I like to keep my complexion neutral, so it's hard. But this is nice. I guess I would need to use this like more all over my face too, but I just don't like how orange it is. I prefer the yellow powder to the almond powder. This is the Branding Is All rubbed off. This is a brand called Sistar, and it's called I Bake You Happy. It's a banana powder. It's pretty good. This is actually a really good banana powder. The packaging is a little weird, but it's super mattifying, super brightening. Again, I'm just not the biggest fan of banana. I don't always want a bright yellow under eye. It just doesn't always suit me. So, but this one's pretty good. This was like super cheap from Marshalls. I think like $4, but a really good powder. Maybelline Fit Me. Maybelline Fit Me The foundation is my favorite foundation of all time. I'm trying to clean stuff as I go. This is medium deep. I was so impressed with this when I first started using it. Now this color, this is a nice color. This is a good neutral brightening color for me, but there's still something a little bit off about it. The formula is off. You know what? I think I'm gonna pull this into the Shop My Stash too and use this a little bit more. I loved it at first, but I think there's something about the staying power that I don't enjoy, and it's a little difficult to blend. I think it's a really fickle, funny acting powder. So I don't feel as strongly about it as I did when I first started using it. I think I just loved the color so much, but the formula leaves a little bit to be desired. I'm putting that off to the side. I'm gonna put that into a Shop My Stash. Let me clean off this table. I brought wipes because I thought I was gonna be swatching. This is I'm gonna wipe them off before I start talking about them. This is the Essence 16-Hour Cover and Last Powder Foundation. This is the darkest shade in the shade Espresso. This is actually a really nice powder foundation. They need to work on this shade range, because this being the darkest color is very much so unacceptable, but it is pretty good. This is a good formula. I can use this for a lot. I'm not a huge bronzer person. I'm more of a bronzer. I like to keep my bronzer or contour very neutral. I don't like for it to go too warm or too cool. So this can serve me as a lot of different things. I can bronzer with it, or like deepen up my brightened under eye with it. It can go all over my face. I can put it in the crease. This is just a good color for me. You see I got a dent going in here. The downside about this is that it smells crazy. It doesn't smell that bad like in the pan, but like you'll be able to smell it, like, or me. I smell it in my brushes like later on, like weird. But super affordable, good formula, can't be mad at it. That smell is just weird. Mario. Y'all know I love Mario. This is his new powder. I knew that the second this man came out with the powder, I was gonna get it, because I use his eyeshadow primer, his eye primer, and the setting powder in there is just immaculate. So I knew that once he dropped the powder, I was gonna get it. And then everyone started raving about the powder, and I was like, sign me up, say less. So I chose neutral medium deep. Unfortunately, this shade is too dark for my under eyes. As you can see, it's a similar color to that Beauty Bakery almond color, chestnut color. It's just too deep for my under eyes, but it sets the entire face beautifully. This is a beautiful formula. I will be getting another color of this to set my under eyes. I like this formula a lot. I didn't expect less from Mario. He's the one. What's next? I'm just reaching in at this point. Ah, Huda. All right, so this is the infamous Huda powder. I'm glad I got a mini because I got the shade Kunafa, which is a beautiful banana color. It's pretty, but again, I'm just not into yellow powders. And this is a very good formula. It's a beautiful powder. It's super high end. It deserves all the hype that it gets. For me, it's just a little bit too high coverage, full coverage. Like I said, I prefer a translucent powder, and Huda's powder is full coverage. And this is just a little too yellow for me. But when I do wear it, it's beautiful. It lasts all day, no creasing. This is a fire powder formula. It's just the color and the full coverage of it all is not up my alley, but it's beautiful. This is another hyped up powder. I've mentioned on my channel that I don't really agree with all the hype that this powder gets. This is the Sephora Micro Smooth. I have the shade 75 Hazelnut. This doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't do much for me. And I would have high hopes because this is the kind of thing that I like something that's not really matte, but has like a really like, you know, multi-dimensional finish. It just doesn't do much for me. I don't know. It doesn't blur. It's not, I don't know. I just use it because it's solid, and my preference is a loose powder because I feel like I can make them work for me better. But it's just solid. If I'm not in the mood for a mess or a loose powder, I will reach for this, but I don't get the payoff that I would want from this. I think it might be maybe a color thing, but then even if it was just color, I feel like it still should like blur out by complexion or like finish it off, and it doesn't. So I just don't agree with the hype that this powder gets. I don't know if they've reformulated it or what. I don't know. This just makes me want to try MAC Mineralize, and that's what I'm going to do. Like, don't be surprised if this ends up being declared before I finish it. I do use it a lot because, again, I just like the ease of it. I just don't really like it. Not my favorite. Ooh, these are amongst my favorite. I know I've been giving a lot of slack to a lot of companies, but these Morphe Bacon Set powders are tea. I have another one. I got these in a set of 2. I have Brightening Pink and the Translucent. This is a great setting powder. This is a good setting powder. I will be repurchasing these. This is really the only true no, that's a lie. One of 2 true translucent powders, like no color, colorless powders that I have, and it's just so good. It's so good. And then this is the Brightening Pink. I do like it. It depends on what I'm doing with my base, what I'm doing with my blush, what I'm doing with the eyes, whether I will be able to pull this off. But if it all works together, it works together, and the formula is just so good. I actually have another one, a backup of the pink. I think I ended up with like a free gift with like buying some brushes or something. So I have a backup of the pink, and I will be repurchasing the translucent. These are wins. The Morphe Bacon Sets are wins. The only reason why it doesn't really replace my powder is because my powder was a radiant finish powder, and these are matte. These are matte. These are for, I really suggest these for people with oily skin. Even though I'm dry, I don't know, the finish is just so good. I use a very glowy moisturizing product, so I feel like it balances out. But winners. I really like the Morphe Bacon Set powders. I like them. I will be repurchasing one. And I'm surprised I'm not done with them. It's just that I don't reach for them a lot because they're so like oil absorbing that I'm not always down for that. But very good powder. And they last, the longevity of it lasts just as good as the Huda. Very good. Very, very good. What's this? Oh, this is, I've had this for a while. This is a powder that I've repurchased multiple times. It's just a powder that I'm very comfortable with. This is the Black Radiance True Complexion loose setting powder. This is in the shade Honeymoon. It's one of the powders that I will use when I'm not in the mood for a bright powder. And this one is just not as orange. It's still orange, but it's not as orange as like the other powders that I say that are too dark. It just works well when I'm not doing a bright under eye. It's pretty good. I've repurchased this multiple times. It's not as long lasting, high quality as Huda or the Morphe, but it gets the job done for like maybe an everyday type beat, you know, easy, quick beat. She's a good one, a good affordable one. This is new to my collection. This is Playing in Makeup by Yolando. This is the Set and Bake Translucent Powder in the shade D Dark. Now, this is good. This is good. It still gives me that orange too, but it kind of depends on what concealer I'm using, because it is pretty translucent. It's pretty translucent. Even though it's dark, it still lets my concealer shine through, and then it balances. What I like to do is I like to brighten with concealer, and then I like to like neutralize or overlay with powder and kind of create a balance between the two shades. So I really like this. I love Pimby. Playing in Makeup by Yolando is one of my favorite indie brands. I think her product is so good. I wish she was larger and more popular than what she is. Her stuff is so good. I love supporting her brand. I think she has a great product. I love this. I'm glad I picked this up. Very good formula. I need to use it more. Should I put it in my Shop My Stash? No, I think 2 powders is enough. Okay, this is a good powder, but I don't really use it. It's more of a finishing powder. This is the Ulta Beauty Mineral Powder Foundation. The shade is so good. This is in the shade Deep Cool. And I know that looks dark as heck, but it's good. Like, it's good. I need it. I am dark. So, it's not for setting the under eye. How have I used this in the past? Maybe like to set my contour. The color is just very good. It's a really good color. Yeah, this is a very good color for me. And I don't know, the formula is really nice. It's a really nice formula. I like this. I think Ulta has done like a rebrand, like with their in-house brand stuff. So I don't think the packaging looks like this anymore. But this is really good. I think during their rebrand, they were putting like their older packaging on sale. So like I picked this up for super cheap, and I really like this. I like the color of this powder. Very good. And the formula is good too. All right, this is pretty recent. I think I picked this up during one of the Sephora sales. This is the Sephora 12-hour setting and mattifying powder, universal. It is truly translucent. It is very translucent. It's just not my favorite formula. I don't really like it. I think sometimes I can get it to work. Other times it looks a little cakey and dry. Yeah, not my favorite, but I'll keep it. Again, I'm not getting rid of anything. Givenchy. Another one that I'm glad that I got the mini. This is in the shade Papali Mimosa, and this is the old formula. I did not like this powder. I don't know. I think it was a little bit too much for me, like too oil absorbing for me, too drying on my skin type. The color, I also really didn't like. I didn't like the mix of these colors. I just didn't like it. Yeah, I never reach for it. Only time I reach for it is when I do like a Shop My Stash and I pull it for a Shop My Stash, and then I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. But yeah, this is the old formula. I don't think I'm gonna try the new formula, even though they say it's like radiant. I don't know. I'm not into luxury powder. I think it's unnecessary. CoverGirl. CoverGirl is who makes my Holy Grail powder before they changed the formula. This is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Instant Wrinkle Blurring Press Powder. This is in the shade Natural Beige, so obviously very brightening for me. Do you know how much I paid for this? This was like $16. CoverGirl really be on some bullshit nowadays. It's a good powder. It is a good powder. CoverGirl makes a good powder. When they're making a good powder, they make a good powder. Yeah, it's a good powder. It's a little too bright for me, but it's a great powder. It's a good powder. Is that it? Oh, I was gonna say, I have a couple more. Oh my God, this is an archive item. This is an archive item. I need to take this out of here because this is ridiculous. This is a Sonia Kashuk Shimmering Loose Powder Bronzer. Before I wore eyeshadow, this is what I used to use as eyeshadow. I used to like try to set my under eyes with this, but it's a bronzer. It's not setting anything, but it's pretty though. I used to put it on my lids. It's very pretty. I used to like use it as highlighter. It's pretty. I've had this for so long. I can't get rid of it. Almost done. Oh, this is my last one. I never really used this one either. All right, y'all, I forgot some. I keep some in like a train case at my vanity, and then there was some in the front pocket of the makeup bag. So this is pretty new to my collection. I shopped Huda's cyber sale during the holidays, so I picked up the Easy Bake and Snatch. This is in the shade Cinnamon Bun, and I got it because you guys know I think Kunafa is just too yellow, and this was like a deeper option. I don't know. I can't really review this for you because I didn't know this was down here. I don't really know her yet. I don't really know how to use her yet. Again, I'm way more comfortable with loose powders than I am with pressed powders. I have tried it under the eyes. It's definitely not the same thing as the Huda loose powder. It doesn't set in the same way, but I kind of do like an all over the face type thing with it. And I think this packaging is so cool with this mirror. I think this black looks bomb. I love the packaging on here. I just need a little bit more experience with this to really form an opinion on it. Since we're talking about Huda, I have the Glowish by Huda. I picked this one up first. This is the Luminous Pressed Powder in 10 Deep Tan. I think Huda is doing away with the Glowish line, but I really, 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 really like this powder. It's very pretty. And it is luminous. It is luminous. I like to put this on my lids too as like a one and done. I really like this powder. I like it so much that I repurchased it during the sale. I got a lighter color in the shade. This is 10 Deep Tan. This is 8 Tan. and I haven't used this one yet. And this one is lighter. Yeah, sometimes this one was just a little too deep under my eyes. So I'm looking forward to trying this one under my eyes. I think that's gonna work out really nice. But I really like the formula of these, and I'm glad I was able to pick up another color before they are gone forever. I understand why people wouldn't like these, because these are very glowy. I understand why she would be discontinuing it, but for me, I like radiant finishes. Now, I have a mini of the Kosas Cloud Set. This is in the shade Silky. Like I said, Kosas's packaging always breaks, but as you can see, I really like this powder. I think this is pretty close to my CoverGirl Holy Grail. It's radiant. It's not drying. This is nice. I like this powder. I will be repurchasing this. I've made a very serious dent in this mini. It's just so unfortunate that Kosas's packaging always breaks. But I mean, I'm used to it in the CoverGirl. I guess this is just a characteristic of powders that I like. But Kosas did their thing with this formula. This is a very nice powder formula for people with dry skin, people that don't want to be all super matte, that like that little bit of radiance. I love this. I also do want this in another color. Sometimes this is just, sometimes I want a bright under eye, and this is not bright under eye. So, but I do love this one. Yeah, a close contender to my Holy Grail. This is a free sample of the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. This is in the shade Translucent. I was lucky enough to get this for free because I was never gonna pull the trigger on. I know people love this, and maybe I do need to try this in my shade. Yeah, I'm happy to have a free sample because I never wanted to spend the 40 bucks or 40, whatever, how much it costs for the powder. My Holy Grail, my CoverGirl powder, I believe was under $5. I think it was like $4.99 or something. I need to like look it up to confirm, but it was something stupid cheap. So spending money on powder, just difficult for me. I could never pull the trigger. So I think in one of my Ulta purchases, I got like a whole bunch of free samples, and I was happy to get this. This is nice. I do like this as a translucent powder. How I like to use translucent powder is like when I'm done with my base, and then like that pore area that's still like juicy from base and not set with powder, I'll set that area with translucent, and this works very well for that. It kind of brings the shine down. This little free sample packaging is weird though, because this little three thing, I probably need to take this thing out. It's just weird. But I may try more Laura Mercier powder. I know this is like a lot of people's Holy Grail. I'm glad to have got it for free. And then lastly these are from the Dollar Tree. These are dupes for the other CoverGirl, the Simply Ageless that I showed y'all. This is Be Pure Essentially Ageless Blurring Press Powder. Usually I'm not a fan of Dollar Tree makeup. But these, I don't know, I impulsively bought these because, you know, powder hoarder at this time. Unfortunately, they don't say the shade names on the packaging, but I know this is like, I think this is like a medium dark, and this is like a light to medium. Obviously, I get more use out of the medium dark, and this is actually very good. As you can see, I've been getting to it. I like to set my lids, my eyeshadow base with this. It's actually really nice under the under eye too. It will I don't want to say go bad, but the longevity might not be like an all day type thing, but it looks good for the amount of time that it does last. So I don't know, maybe I didn't need this one, and if I were to declutter, I probably would declutter this because this is just way too light for me. But they're good. I'm glad I picked them up. This one's tea. This is my Black Opal Soft Velvet Finishing Powder in the shade 600 Dark. This, I really like using this as a powder foundation. Like when my skin, I think it's like similar to the color of the Ulta. Let's compare them. When my skin is doing really, really good and I don't really need much of a base and I just have skincare on and then I like set my skin with this, immaculate. It's so beautiful. Oh, the Ulta is just so much darker, but this is like one of my dark powders that's really, really good. I've had this also for a very long time. This is a good powder. I don't know if they still make it, but it's a good powder. All right, so that is all my powders. Let me know if you have any of these and how you feel about them. If you have dry skin, oh, I have to show you my powder that I love. If you have dry skin and you have a powder that you love, please let me know. Okay, so don't judge me. This is just the life that I have to live. Now, this is, what is this? Do they have the name on here? All right, so this was the CoverGirl Loose powder in the shade Translucent Honey. And this powder is just so beautiful. As you can see, the color is perfect. The lid always broke. It just is what it is. You know how like Hostess always breaks? The lid always broke. This is my, I'm working on this one. I have a good amount left. And I have a brand new one. And then after that, it's no more. But I'll wear this on like a night out or if I'm doing something special or whatever. It's just always so good. As you can see, the color is perfectly neutral. It's not yellow, it's not orange, it's just the perfect color for me. And then it is radiant. There's like shimmer in it, and I like that. I like that in my powder. It just works for my complexion. So that's my holy grail powder that I want to replace so very badly. Again, if you can suggest any powders for me, let me know. But my favorite is definitely, even though it's not a radiant finish, is the Morphe Bacon Sets. Huda is an honorable mention. It's just a little bit too full coverage for me. And I like the Beauty Bakery powders as well. So that's it. I'm gonna pull these two into a Shop My Stash. I think I'm gonna show you guys all my blushes next, and then we might pull some blushes for Shop My Stash as well. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed. See you later.